This is Jonathan from Spin. We're with Scott from Rival Sons to talk today about a subject that not everyone is comfortable talking about. And Scott, you've been very open about your challenges with sobriety. And sobriety can be inherently an individual challenge for people, but I'm wondering if by channeling those experiences through your music, you're able to open it up to the wider world and maybe help some people understand what you go through.
Sure. I'll just speak openly about it. I didn't have any hitting rock bottom moment. I know a lot of people do, and those stories are valuable. But I wanted to tell you just a different story where it doesn't require to hit rock bottom. You know, it was really just the thing of in our line of work and this job, it's really easy to become an accidental alcoholic. A drink before the show, a couple drinks after the show, maybe a couple more before you go down, or and it's just day after day after day, and you're not feeling like you're binge drinking, but then you end the tour and you come home and you start looking and calculating it like, I think I drank every single day. I'm pretty sure that is alcoholism. And then if you spice in a little bit of drugs into that, you're just going, wow, this is a lot of damage, and there was a lot of hungover days here. And for me, I just ended up feeling really disconnected if I really looked at myself. I just felt like I wasn't taking in all these beautiful places I was seeing. I have a family at home. I felt I couldn't be ready whenever I needed to be ready. Like if I'm in Europe and I have one of my kids need to talk to me in their normal daytime, that's 3:30 in the morning for me. If I'm 7 drinks down, it's just not coherent enough. It's not how I want to perform for them. It's not how I want to be available. But even more importantly, just for myself, I have this great opportunity to play music for people, and more than just fire people up on rock and roll, I see it very much as a thing with like Paramatma. If I take something from Hindu culture, where when we're on deck and you're playing music with people, there's a very symbiotic thing happening with everyone. And it becomes less about all these people partying and having this good time and individual people, and you can kind of see people very connected as souls, very similar. We're all doing the same thing at the same time. And even us, we're facilitating that, they're facilitating us. We're kind of, no one's really in charge here, even though it looks like we're in charge. We've all kind of come together to do this thing together, to sing together, to feel something together. And I'll tell you, it's a lot easier to feel that happening in sobriety. And that was a big deal for me.
So let me ask you this. For people who may want to support their friends or their family who are in recovery or dealing with addiction, but maybe don't know quite how, what would you say to those folks that can help them on that journey to really being a supportive aid to a friend or family member in this situation?
I don't know if I have any stupendous advice except my own personal experience, and that is at one point or another, you can do it when you're young or you can wait till you're older. It's up to you. We all are striving to be, hopefully, the best version of us. That doesn't mean we have to be the most important person on earth, but we're trying to be the best version of ourselves. So if you ever look at yourself and think, am I doing that? Like, am I doing my job the best? Am I with my family? Am I the most present? Am I the most present for myself? So I can sleep at night and wake up and know what's going on with me. At one point or another, you want to strive to be the best version of yourself. And I know beyond any shadow of a doubt, for sure, you can't do that when you're intoxicating. It's just not possible. And that's a huge thing. Try it. Try to be the best version of yourself. Just see how it feels. A lot of people drink because they're trying to run from something. What is it? Maybe deal with that. Maybe not the Bandaid. Maybe let's just try to fix this, Putting a Bandaid on mental health or trauma isn't going to solve anything. It's going to inflate it. It's terrible. You don't want that. And I know for a lot of people that enjoy drinking, I don't rain on anybody's parade. I have people on my tour that drink and party and have a good time. More power to them. We all come to this in our own time. Nobody needs mom on the road on the bus just because it's my way, it's not their way. But surely if they ask me about it, they get this conversation. Like, man, I'm enjoying touring. I'm enjoying being present. I'm enjoying the people every night. This is the best I've ever felt. No hangovers. I'm ready to go see the town. I'm ready to like speak to my family and speak to friends and even speak to fans. It's important. These people came, they're paying money, they've dedicated their lives. If I go out to talk to them now, I can like actually be present for people, you know? And I don't have any like super practical advice. I think beyond that, I think there's a lot of people like we were talking about that have rock bottom situations that are like, this is my support system and how I did it, and I'll leave that to them. But I will say, look inside, be more connected to the truer, deeper part of yourself. And that starts with, that's the beginning point, is sobriety. You know, we're all going to deal with different things in our life, but this is a start point. So get started.
I imagine it must be cool to see people like yourself who have gone on this journey at events like where we are now, where your peers are assembled, and maybe there's some extra solidarity by knowing that a lot of your friends and acquaintances, people that you've known through this life in music, have experienced the same thing. Sure.
Yeah, it's really prevalent out here, because here we are at this beautiful festival, and I'm sure I'm not the only one you'll talk to today or the day before. It's a trend, you know. We've noticed a huge uprising trend of mental health issues on the road, just because of the way we live. We're kind of confined to a bus, and then a lot of people confine themselves to a backstage area or a hotel room. This time alone, the whole world had a chance to really look at that and feel that with COVID. And this is kind of like a lot of musicians and artists' lives. They feel a little sheltered, like they don't want to go out, and they just are stuck in their places with hangovers and weird things happening. And it's created a real strange thing with mental illness. So the people that have kind of found their way out of it as much as they can, yeah, we high-five each other. I think especially the people that have had serious issues, they're seriously high-fiving. And I have a whole bunch of friends like that. And I feel like, I don't know if I get to be in the club totally, but I'll take the high five. I'll do it.
So to close, Scott, can you share a funny Dave Cobb story with us?
A what?
A funny story about Dave Cobb.
Okay. I'll tell you about the first time that I met Dave and worked with him. This was before my partner Jay was even in the band. Before Jay Buchanan and me were working together, I was making what would become our record, Before the Fire. I meet him. We're pretty much the same age. We have a very similar musical pedigree and interests, and he's really deep into it. I'm freakishly into musical history and rock and roll. And we talk, we groove. We're going to make a record together. We go to the studio and show up. I've written a record that I'm ready for him to produce. As soon as we get in the room and plug in, we start talking about what do we want to start on. I play him some stuff, and he goes, yeah, man, in his very sweet Southern Comfort accent, his Atlanta accent. He says, yeah, I think all that music's good. I think it's cool, but kind of like you already did it. I'm hearing this stuff already, and it feels like these are already recordings, man. Like, maybe we should just try something else. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, you don't want to do the songs that I wrote, that I brought in? And he goes, let's just try it. So we ended up basically writing a record off the floor with them, which was a lot of stuff that I had backlogged and stuff that I had to still write automatically. And it was just, I really wanted to kill him during this first record because I had never had somebody do this to me. And what ended up happening was I made a record that I really appreciated, that I couldn't see when it was going to go left and right. Even now when I listen to it, there's surprises on there like, oh yeah, this is what we jumped into, as opposed to something I wrote methodically, you know. And we continued to make records like that. When I produce artists, I use this same technique. I don't know how funny that is, but it was hilarious to me at the time that I was actually very angry about this approach he was taking with me, and it became a very eye-opening and creative way to make records that I've taken on for the rest of my life. I've known him now 15, 16 years or something, so I love Dave. He's wonderful.
Right on. Scott, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Jonathan.